Right, good day to all my wonderful online viewers. Just to remind you, if this is your first time of watching this YouTube channel and you have not subscribed, it won't cost you money. Just press the subscribe button, strike the bell. Now, preparation of triazocarbonate. Sodium and potassium triazocarbonate are also prepared by heating the corresponding hydrogen triazocarbonate. Take note. If you heat sodium hydrogen triazocarbonate 4, you will end up preparing sodium triazocarbonate 4. Fine. If you heat potassium hydrogen triazocarbonate 4, you will end up preparing potassium triazocarbonate 4. Look at what I'm talking about. This is sodium hydrogen triazocarbonate 4. This is heat. You get Na2CO3, H2O, and CO2. This equation is not balanced. It is left for you to do the balancing. So can I help you? Put you at the back of this place. Then you'll be good to go. Look at this. This is KHCO3, heat. Then you have potassium triazocarbonate 4. You have water, and you have carbon 4 oxide. Preparation of insoluble triazocarbonate 4. Can you get this? What an awesome thing to know. Hey, chemistry. Very simple. Preparation of insoluble triazocarbonate 4. The insoluble triazocarbonate 4 are added by adding a solution of sodium triazocarbonate 4. Look at what I'm talking about. NaACO3 to a solution of corresponding metal, and the triazocarbonate 4 is formed as precipitate. Look at this. We want to prepare calcium triazocarbonate 4, which is not soluble. This is the triazocarbonate 4, which is soluble. You can go back to the previous slide. The insoluble triazocarbonate 4 are added to a solution of sodium triazocarbonate 4, which is soluble. Now go back. You have this. Calcium chloride is a salt which is insoluble. This is soluble. Now you end up preparing calcium triazocarbonate 4, which is insoluble, and sodium chloride is soluble. This is insoluble. This is soluble. This is insoluble. This is soluble. A B is partially soluble, and this is very soluble. Now the same thing happens when you add calcium chloride to sodium hydrogen triazocarbonate 4. You get calcium triazocarbonate 4, sodium chloride, H2O, and CO2. You need to learn this. Take note importantly, triazocarbonate 4 of aluminium does not exist. Don't be deceived. It doesn't exist. Let's move on to the next slide. Industrial preparation of sodium triazocarbonate 4. This is an awesome area. Waegneco Jam will ask you questions on it. The process is known as the process through which it is manufactured using surface process is known as ammonia soda process. Ammonia soda process. Basically, we call it Solvay process, but the materials are ammonia and soda being used together. So please continue to learn this. Look at it. Brine, that's concentrated sodium chloride. Anywhere you hear about brine, it is called concentrated sodium chloride. Is saturated with ammonia by passing ammonia gas up to a large tower down, which the brine is sprayed, and the ammoniacal brine is then sprayed down to the third tower, up which carbon 4 oxide is passed at a pressure of 3 atmosphere, an exothermic reaction which gives sodium hydrogen tricarbonate 4 is filtered off. It is rinsed and it is heated. You can see that when you heat sodium hydrogen tricarbonate 4, the major product there is sodium tricarbonate 4. Put that on your mind. Put that on your mind. Don't forget. Ask yourself questions. Pause and think. That is the secret to.
Okay, we are going to have a little break now, and when we come back, we will continue the lesson. Stay watching.
Great day, my wonderful viewers. Let's move on to the work of the day and do something very important as regards chemistry. Now, Solvay Process. If you look at this, you will understand that industrial preparation of Na2CO3 is called Solvay Process. And this is the overall reaction. NH3 plus H2O plus CO2 go to NH4HCO3. NH4HCO3 is ammonium hydrogen triazocarbonate 4. And this is now mixed with brine. Brine is concentrated sodium chloride. So when two of them are mixed together, you get sodium hydrogen triazocarbonate 4. Now when you heat sodium hydrogen triazocarbonate 4, you get your product, Na2CO3. That's very beautiful. Na2CO3. Now let's move to properties of triazocarbonate 4. Number one property of triazocarbonate 4 is solubility in water. Ability to be soluble in water. Most metallic triazocarbonate 4 are insoluble, but those of alkali and ammonium salts are dissolvable, that is, they are soluble. Their resulting solution turn red litmus paper blue because the OH is more than the hydrogen ion that is present there. Action on it. All triazocarbonate 4 except sodium, potassium, and barium decompose to liberate carbon 4 oxide. Look at it. They decompose to liberate all triazocarbonate 4 except the one for sodium, for potassium, and for barium. Now, all triazocarbonate 4 react with dilute acid to liberate carbon 4 oxide, water, and a salt. Look at it. This one does not have exemption. All triazocarbonate 4 react with dilute acid to give salt, to give water, and to give carbon 4 oxide. Uses of triazocarbonate 4. It is used in the manufacture of glass. It can be used in making soap. It's also used in bleaching textile. It is used in making paper. It's also used in removing both temporary and hardness of water. It is used in the laboratory reagents in both quantitative and qualitative analysis. Hydrogen triazocarbonate 4. That is the ion now. Hydrogen triazocarbonate 4 ion are the acid sort of triazocarbonate 4 acid. They are formed when a metal or ammonium radical replaces one of the two hydrogen atoms in the triazocarbonate 4 acid. Now, they are generally soluble in water. Calcium hydrogen triazocarbonate 4 is responsible for hardness of water. I think we should arrest it now. Calcium hydrogen is what makes water hard. How do you know water is hard? When it is wasting your soap. You use 100 naira bar soap to wash hanky and it's not yet foaming. Just as if you pour kerosene there. It will not foam. That is how you know water is hard. They are prepared in the laboratory by passing carbon 4 oxide through a cold solution of the corresponding hydroxide or triazocarbonate 4. Example, sodium hydroxide plus carbon 4 oxide will give us sodium hydrogen triazocarbonate 4. We also have potassium triazocarbonate 4 plus carbon 4 oxide plus water to give us potassium hydrogen triazocarbonate 4. So please put this on your mind, and you will now understand that your knowledge of chemistry is growing. Uses is used in baking powder with tartaric acid to liberate carbon 4 oxide. It is used as medicine to relieve indigestion. So put this on your mind, subscribe to my channel, and always enjoy the videos. Post your questions. I will always be there to give response at all times.